Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm your host, Brandon Vincent. In U.S. news, a federal prosecutor decided against bringing charges in the 2005 destruction of Central Intelligence Agency videotape showing harsh interrogations of terrorism detainees, the Justice Department said Tuesday. Special Prosecutor John Durham conducted an exhaustive investigation and concluded that he will not pursue criminal charges for the destruction of the interrogation videotapes. Justice Department spokesman Matthew Miller said no reason was given why Mr. Durham closed the investigation without charges. The announcement came 5 years to the day after the tapes were destroyed on orders of Jose A. Rodriguez Jr., the chief of the CIA's National Clandestine Service, according to CIA documents released in a lawsuit by the American Civil Liberties Union. Robert Bennett, Mr. Rodriguez's attorney, said this is the right decision because of the facts and the law. CIA Director Leon Panetta said the agency cooperated with the justice probes. We are pleased that the decision was made not to charge any agency officers for the destruction of these tapes. In financial news, stocks fell Tuesday as investors became increasingly concerned about the potential impacts of the Federal Reserve's stimulus plan announced last week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 60.09 points, or 0.53%, to 11,346. Bank of America was the measure's worst performer, off 33 cents, or 2.6%, to $12.27. Despite its plan to sell 25% more shares of BlackRock than it intended, the banking giant at this point remains short of the amount of capital it is supposed to have raised by a year-end deadline. Chevron also weighed on the Dow with a drop of 1.5% to $83.56 after the energy giant agreed to pay $3.2 billion in cash to assume $1.1 billion in debt to purchase Atlas Energy. Atlas shareholders will receive $38.27 in a share in cash, a premium of 21% over Monday's closing price. Shares of Atlas, which isn't a Dow component, surged $10.32 or 34% to $42.50. The Nasdaq Composite lost $17.07 or 0.66% to 2,562. The S&P 500 stock index shed 9.85 points or 0.81% to 1,213. In international news, Al-Qaeda is still planning Mumbai-style attacks in Europe, with the United States also possibly being targeted. Counterterrorism officials in Europe and the United States tell CNN. The discovery of Al-Qaeda's plans to launch coordinated attacks in several cities in Britain, Germany, and France led the United States to issuing an unprecedented travel advisory in October for its citizens traveling in Europe. European counterterrorism officials tell CNN that they believe the aim was to carry out the attacks before the end of the year. The expected time frame of the plot had not previously been disclosed. In November of 2008, gunmen belonging to a Pakistani jihadist group affiliated with Al-Qaeda went on a shooting rampage against several targets in Mumbai, including its most prestigious hotel, the main railway station, and a Jewish center, killing more than 160 people.
Attention if you have diabetes.
Hello, I'm Alan Thicke. As the father of a child with diabetes, it's important that I keep up to date with the latest in treatments and technology. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a breakthrough in diabetes care through CCS Medical. You don't need to stick your fingers anymore. This new meter allows you to test on your arm, so it's virtually pain-free. Plus, it uses gold test strips. Real laser-etched gold in every strip provides the ideal testing surface for one of the most accurate readings possible. Best of all, CCS Medical can send you this meter at no cost. With CCS Medical, they deliver your diabetes supplies to your home. They work with Medicare or your insurance to process the paperwork. They even have nurses certified in diabetes available to answer questions. And for a limited time, CCS Medical will also send you a diabetes cookbook. All this from a company trusted and recommended by thousands of doctors around the country. Call CCS Medical today.
In entertainment news, Lil Wayne already has 4 children with 4 different women. Now he's learned he may have fathered a 5th. While he was serving out his recently completed 8-month jail term at New York's Rikers Island for gun possession, Wayne was hit with a paternity suit from a Missouri woman who alleges that the rapper fathered a child in 2002. The 8-year-old's grandmother obtained a court order that requires Wayne to undergo a DNA test. Wayne was originally required to be tested before September 10th, but since he was in jail at that time, the matter was adjourned until December 9th. It was unclear at press time why the child's grandmother was pursuing the case. In tech news, what's the best way to get people hyped up for an upcoming game? Obviously, file for a trademark. Nintendo said Wednesday that it had filed a request with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to trademark the phrase, "It's on like Donkey Kong," calling it an old popular Nintendo phrase that has a number of possible interpretations depending on how it's used. Nintendo said in a statement that it was trademarking the phrase in honor of the upcoming Donkey Kong Country Returns, which will be released November 21st for Wii. According to the indispensable Urban Dictionary, rapper Ice Cube first popularized the phrase in 1992 with the song "Now I Gotta Wetcha." Since then, things have been on like Donkey Kong all over pop culture. Various movies, TV shows, and uncreative headlines have used the phrase to emphasize that something is indeed on. In green news, one of the many benefits of electric cars is that you get rid of many of the things that need maintenance and can break down. A lot of mechanics will probably be sad about that, but hybrid and plug-in hybrid cars that combine electric motors and batteries with internal combustion engines don't quite get the same benefits, but still get some. For example, the brake pads on most hybrids wear out very slowly because most of the braking is done with an electric motor to generate electricity. In the Chevy Volt, the oil changes could happen as rarely as once every 2 years because for some drivers, the gas engine will almost never turn on. That's the tricky part, figuring out which drivers are which. Thankfully for GM, they already have a technology to monitor oil quality that allows them to know when you need an oil change. If you drive your Volt in such a way that the oil loses its lubricating qualities fast, your oil changes will be frequent. But if you drive it in electric mode most of the time, you might reach the software cap of 2 years between oil changes. The cap might actually be increased to more than 2 years after GM has had time to gather more real-world data about oil quality in its PHEV.